Hi there. It is Jennifer Elizabeth Masters here. I am a soul sculptor. I help you break the mold of past trauma, heartbreak, so that you can live a life of your dreams. You know, a long time ago, I had lots of trauma, and actually even as recently as in my 50s, I had trauma when I fell in love with someone that, for most spiritual people would call my twin flame. We had a incredibly connected relationship, and he died in my arms actually after making love. And to say that I was shocked and in terrible trauma, I would say, is an understatement, and it took me quite a long time to get over that. Here's the thing about numbness. When we experience something that is of a deep nature, deeply emotional, and we can't express it, or the pain is so great that we can't cry enough, or we can't move through the emotion, and we stuff the emotions down, whether it comes from childhood or into adulthood, what happens is that our pieces of our soul kind of splinter like shards of glass. It's like we've been fractured, and this fracturing causes this split in our persona. We don't feel whole, and we can have such emotional loss that this causes numbness. And so the way to move through this is by releasing these trapped emotions. And there's several different ways to do so, and one of the ways is through energy clearings, which is what I do. Hypnosis is another, works powerfully. Also, there's lots of different ways to move emotion, but the thing about numbness is we can stuff our emotions. We can stuff this trauma in so many ways, whether it's with alcohol or using sweets to eliminate this feeling that we have, that we want to stuff down the sadness. What happens is these things get put away in a box, and they cause us difficulties with life. And so we really have to retrieve these lost feelings, the darkness that we can't remember from childhood. We have to retrieve these pieces of ourselves, and this is part of what I do. I do this where I eliminate the pieces or shards of the soul, the fragments, and bring them all back together, clear them to their highest level, and then assimilate them back into your energy body, and then holy cow, you feel whole again. It's really remarkable. Hi Star, nice to see you. So when we lose these memories, or we have numbness, there's lots of different reasons why we might have them. We might have really deep anger, and the anger could be towards someone that we actually love, and so we can't really express the anger properly, so we stuff it. And there was a time when I was seeing psychics. I don't do that anymore, but I would go to these psychics, and they would say to me, you've got rage. And I remember saying, oh no, I'm not angry. And the only time this anger would come out was, every once in a while I would just be like Mount Vesuvius, like this whoosh. And I would think, where on earth is that coming from? Because it would seemingly come out from out of nowhere, where something would trigger me, whether it would be my kids doing something, taking tennis balls and hitting crab apples against my neighbor's home, or throwing eggs at their house, and I'd come home from work, and then I'd be, I would blow up. But I didn't know where this rage was put away. I didn't realize it was so deep. And so when we have these trapped emotions, what happens is we shut our hearts down. It can be really difficult to cry. It can be really difficult to feel when we stuff these emotions down so deep that, you know, it freezes us, basically, is what happens. So when we have trapped emotions, what can also happen is that we then have a lack of pleasure. We may not orgasm when we have sex, or when we do have orgasm, we don't receive pleasure. And this is called anhedonia. Anhedonia is a lack of pleasure, not feeling pleasure for the things that normally would give you pleasure. And many people experience this. It's really sad. And a lot of people that are depressed have this feeling of anhedonia, where they do not receive pleasure anymore. Okay, so how can you tell if you don't have memories? Well, when children were molested before the age of 3, they have no memory. They won't remember it. The soul blocks it from us because it's too painful. And so we don't. Here's some indications, though, that you have been molested and didn't know about it. You have anger for no reason, or deep rage, depression. You're disconnected from yourself. You have terribly low self-esteem. Maybe the houses that you live in are haunted. And now that happened for me for many years. Every house I lived in was haunted until I cleared all this stuff out. Now, I you know, the places I live now, the home I live in now, is not. So that is something that can reveal what's underneath the surface. Another thing is having insomnia, not being able to sleep. Your body's trying to get your attention. And hello, is there anybody home? Is there anyone in there? It's your body's check engine light. And there are lots of different ways that the body is trying to tell you something's not right. Insomnia is one of them. Don't ignore it. And what we have a tendency to do these days, we pop a pill. We take a couple of Benadryl. I mean, that's what I used to do. I took Benadryl for years so that I could sleep, until I cleared all those trapped emotions and depression and anxiety. So intense worry is another way to tell. Anxiety, when you have anxiety. Addictions, whether it's a drug addiction, codependency, addiction to sex, that is a way to tell. Let's see, promiscuity, when you're young, you confuse sex with love. You have intense feelings of shame. Maybe you feel responsible for one of your both parents' happiness. You feel broken, like a little broken doll. You know, perhaps you masturbated at a very early age. That is a sign that you were molested. If you don't have a memory of it, but you do remember that, that's a sign. You could be obsessed with sex. And another way to tell if you've had molestation is if illness is your middle name. You have every illness under the sun, and every time you turn around, you're being diagnosed with something else. And that is what happened with me. And so energy clearings are one of the fastest ways to move beyond this. Sometimes you also have intense fears. You also have tremendous neediness or a feeling of helplessness. You may be non-orgasmic. Okay, so what's the good news? There is good news. The good news is that when you get on the other side of healing, you look back and you go, holy cow, I'm a different person. You feel like that person that you used to be isn't you anymore. Forgiveness is one of the things that we have to do. We have to forgive those that hurt us. We have to forgive those that didn't protect us. We have to forgive those that put us in harm's way. Forgiveness is a huge piece of healing. And it's a powerful piece of releasing. Secrets damage the soul. We don't do well with secrets. If we, I know someone who was molested by her brother. She never revealed it to her parents and never ever told the secret to anyone but me. And so what did that do? Well, it caused her all kinds of illness, obsessive compulsive disorder, tremendous fears and worry. So these secrets are not beneficial. So what I do is soul level healing, and from the inside out. So this anhedonia doesn't need to remain. It is something that can be a passing thing. And when we clear out the depression and anxiety, often the lack of pleasure goes away completely. So stuffing emotions isn't healthy. We have them for a reason. We're like pressure cookers, and emotions are the pressure relief valve for our bodies. And if we're not able to release emotions through crying, being able to emote, let go, forgive, then we end up being very sickly. And that is not the way we are meant to live our lives. We're meant to live a beautiful life where we are fulfilled and happy and well. And so part of manifesting abundance is having great health. And I'm just going to give you a quick little tip. So one of the things that we have a tendency to do is that we focus on what is in front of us. We focus on the illness. Why am I so sick? I am in so much pain. Why do I keep getting sick? Instead of, I'm so grateful for my vibrant health. And so being grateful for our health, even when our health may not seem perfect or vibrant, that's what we need to focus on. We focus on our desire as opposed to the problem. We put the problem behind us and focus on what we want to create. So I am out here. The sun has set while I've been out here. It has gotten quite dark and chilly, and I hope that this has helped to explain where this anhedonia or lack of pleasure comes from. And it can be cured. There's definitely a cure for it. And if you have further questions, you can post them below, or join me in my group, Manifest a Kick-Ass Life. And that is a lovely, private, and safe community. I share live videos in there, and it is a place where we support one another. So I am Jennifer Elizabeth Masters. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for being here. I love you.